Hello and welcome back again to the second half of my re-upload for Shulker Box Loaders and Unloaders. This time we're going to go over the Unloader, and just as a quick side note, I'm using the same world, so you might see the loader. I was very unhappy with the quality and length of the original video, so it's become a two-parter, and today we're going to talk about this monstrosity here. This is a Shulker Box Unloader. It will take your full or partially full shulker boxes, give you an empty box, and take all of your mixed items. It doesn't matter what's in the box, it will take them all out and put them in a separate box. So, if you have something like the Shulker Box Loader from my previous video, you can take and unload them immediately afterwards. So, here is our input for loaded shulker boxes. Now, I talked about in the loader video how you might take um, all the items from a mob farm or a raid farm or something similar that gets a lot of disparate items and sort them out into different boxes. If you don't want to do that, or you get such a plethora of items coming at you that you immediately load them all into shulker boxes for the sake of space saving, you could take and run them through an unloader and then send them onto a sorter, which would then turn around and reload them into sorted shulker boxes. So the options you have are limitless here, and I intend to do a video soon that shows just all the things that you can do to put all of these devices in order to accomplish different roles or different goals. I also have one other video that somebody might find a use for, but anyways, that's neither here nor there. Let's get into this one. So we have a button here that starts things off. It is to power our dispenser. Make sure you use a dispenser and not a dropper. A dropper just drops an item as if you push the Q key or the down button on console and just drops it. A dispenser attempts to use the item. That's why you can put a bucket of water there and it will pour a water source out or take it back. So anyways, this hopper is going to feed this dispenser all of our loaded shulker boxes. So let's take these empty ones out of the way because they'll just clog up the system. They won't have anything to do, and it being bedrock, they can possibly break things if they're empty when they get placed. So our main circuit, again, starts with a comparator. It's going to check through this piston to the block that we have here. And I happen to have a few loaded shulker boxes. So we'll put one in there just to show you how this works. But what actually happens here is this comparator, when it gets a signal, or the correct signal anyways, it will extend this piston, which will push this observer down into place. The observer will notice something went wrong, and I've used the wrong color here. This should be blue. Because it is part of this circuit. Okay, now that we're back to where we need to be, let's hope. I wasn't paying enough attention if there's a delay on that one or not, but we'll figure it out as we go. Redstone is actually pretty easy once you know how these things work, and you can do it. Anyway, I was saying that the piston will push this observer, which will observe a change, and power this block, which will power this repeater, which this observer will observe, and power this block, which will power this piston, which will break the empty shulker box. And usually, I say usually because you cannot 100% of the time know that it's always going to go forward. Your shulker box will land in this hopper, which empties into this chest. Now, when this comparator turns off, this piston will retract. These will light up the way that they're supposed to be here. But the the torch will have been off. It will turn on. The observer will notice that. It will send the signal to this repeater, which will send a signal to this dispenser. The dispenser, when it turns back on, will dispense whatever box it has inside of it. We have this block here and this button as our primary ignition. This is something you have to prime. So the first one has to be done manually. See, our comparator has enough of a signal that it's powering the piston, which means that this torch is off. Once this piston pulls back up, this torch will turn on and power this repeater. As we said, the observer will see it. Repeat. Power your dispenser. And we'll put another one in there. Not that it will matter. We won't see it. You can't look inside the shulker box while it's in place, but you can see that our items are coming out. They're being moved through, stacked up in here, and when it gets all finished, our empty shulker box will be broken into the hopper and into the chest. Simple, simple, simple. So let's build this real quick. Once again, in all of my videos, I try to use light blue, lime, and cyan concrete because redstone dust shows up on top of them. But you can use whatever building block that you'd like in these places, as long as it's not a transparent block like glass or leaves. So our first step is to get our two chests with our hoppers facing into them. You need, the chest on the bottom, the chest on the top. We do 1, 2, 3, and then this one, independent of the others, faces into that chest. And we'll look at this. We know where our shulker box is supposed to go. For the time being, we're going to use a temporary block for that. Now, a dispenser is going to be facing towards us, or at least have the business end facing towards us when we place it. So we want to see that. And then we have a hopper on top of our dispenser for loading in stuff, but you can use a water flow item motion or item conveyor belt. Well, this is just for demonstration, but have your water flow heading over to the hopper. It'll be just fine. The hopper will pick up items or pick up its empty shulker boxes. This one is much more situational, so you're less likely to have a water flow, but you can do it. Now this one especially is all repeaters and comparators. There is no redstone dust. So you can build them right next to each other, but I don't know how many Shulker Box Unloaders a single person might need. Oh, and we were premature at breaking our temporary block. We're going to replace that. Put 2 here. And the piston faces towards us when we place it. We can place that and our primer button for our initial activation. This one I have less experience with, so I keep looking back to it very often. I do use it, but I don't build it so often that I have it memorized like the others. All right. And then we have once again, as I was saying, I don't see many situations where having numerous unloaders is an enormous deal, but you may have a farm that just so outstrips everything else that yes, you would need that much power. So I will show you. This repeater needs to be on 3 ticks. In case you need a refresher on that, this is 1. Left click for 2, 3 ticks, 4 ticks. This one is set to 3. So once you place it down and then 2 left clicks, we'll have it to 3 ticks. All right. An observer faces away from you when you place it. Ta-da! You see that it observed that change, powered this block, and then powered our piston here. All of these blocks are actually involved in the circuitry of this. That's why none of them are white. So just be aware of that. Like I said, you can use whatever blocks that you'd like, but they do need to be solid blocks, not transparent blocks. Man, I keep losing track of myself here. That's why I had that out of place. Okay, we need a comparator for our main circuit. As you can see, it's still working. That comparator is lit up. It is happy to keep working as long as there is something in that box to be emptied. Now, on the end of the comparator, we place that. Piston will face down, or face you from where you place it. And that must be a sticky piston. Our observer faces away from us. Perfect. Just like that. That's meant to be a repeater there. Nope. There we go. Now, whoops, that's facing the wrong direction. We need the torch. We need to set that to 2 ticks. It's already set to 1. Whoops. 2. And I didn't pick the torch there. Now, when we place this, it will activate the dispenser for just a moment. So listen for that click. Oh, it didn't. Must be when you place the observer, they aren't observing anything for their new environment. So that's all right. At any rate, once again, we'll put our partially loaded netherite or shulker box in there, full of netherite rather. Push our button. You can see our things are being unloaded. So, I am much happier with the quality of this video now. I hope you are as well. I'm glad to know from all the likes and views that I'm getting that this is helping some people out. So, I enjoy your feedback. Once again, if you really like these things, give me a subscribe. I have lots of plans in the future for more. And there you can just see our one unloaded. So, real quick, I'll interrupt my outro. See, our box did not land where it was supposed to. It came over here, which is okay. It happens. You still end up with getting the box back, but it might be a little out of place. And we're now unloading the next one. You can see netherite is still pouring through. So, with that being said, I am your White Sun Paladin, and that's the end of this video. Glad to have you.